You've heard me talking about it on occasion, seldom, right? But on occasion. And I think with you in the room, I have a feeling that they'll ask me much nicer questions. They'll tone them down, right? And thank you for the apology. I appreciate it. That was very nice. Yahoo. I appreciate it. It was very nice. Yeah, go ahead. Jim, go ahead.
Mr. President, today the U.S. hit a grim milestone of 1 million cases of the coronavirus. Back in late February, you predicted that the number of cases would go down to 0. How did we get from your prediction of 0 to 1 million?
Well, it will go down to 0 ultimately. And you have to understand, when it comes to cases, we do much more testing than anybody else. So we could go to some of these other countries, you know, as an example, China. If you test, you're going to show many more cases. So we're doing more testing than any other country in the world by far, which we just discussed over in the Oval Office. So we're going to show more cases because we're doing much, much more testing, double anybody else. Somebody said if you add everybody else combined, that would be a number. And it will be at the appropriate time, it will be down to 0, like we said.
Weren't the experts at the time saying that the number of cases would go up, we would have community spread?
Well, experts, yeah.
Was warning about this.
Right. Also, experts, many very good experts, very good people too, said that this would never affect the United States. It wouldn't affect Europe. It wouldn't affect anything outside of China. So we were listening to experts, and we always will listen to experts. But the experts got it wrong. A lot of people got it wrong, and a lot of people had no idea it would be this serious. I listened to experts. I'll tell you what, I did something that the experts thought I shouldn't have done. I closed down our country and our borders. I did a ban on China from coming in other than U.S. citizens. And we did very strong checks on even our U.S. citizens. Ron DeSantis was telling me before that when they came in, people were put into quarantine, people were checked, and we're doing that now. So, yeah, I think we did something well ahead of schedule. We did that at the end of January. People were talking about this wouldn't have an impact, as you know, even into March. So I think we've done a great job in the sense that we were early. I think by banning China, and banning people coming in who would have been very heavily infected, we probably saved hundreds of thousands of lives. So on that, I'm very proud. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, it's actually Secretary Mnuchin as well. What about the idea of another round of stimulus payments to American taxpayers directly? Democrats, of course, up on the Hill are talking about the idea of guaranteed income, which obviously could go on for months and months and months.
Yeah.
What about another round?
Well, I like the idea of payroll tax cuts. I've liked that from the beginning. That was the thing that I really would love to see happen. A lot of economists would agree with me. A lot of people agree with me. And I think, frankly, it's simple. It's not the big distribution, and it would really be an incentive for people to come back to work and for employers to hire. The double tax on the company and also on the person. That's what I like, and something like that could happen. Also, I think you have to look, because a lot of people are talking, I assume your next question would be about states. And Steve and I talk about it, and I talk about it with Mitch and with Kevin and with everybody. And the problem with the states is we're not looking to recover 25 years of bad management and to give them the money that they lost. That's unfair to other states. Now, if it's COVID related, I guess we can talk about it. But we'd want certain things also, including sanctuary city adjustments, because we have so many people in sanctuary cities, which I don't even think are popular, even by radical left folks, because what's happening is people are being protected that shouldn't be protected, and a lot of bad things are happening with sanctuary cities. But that's just standing up here answering this question. That's one of the things I think about. If we were going to do something for the states, I think they'd probably want something having to do with sanctuary cities, something having to do with other different points that we can discuss a little bit later on. Yeah, Jeff, go ahead, please.
Mr. President, you're going to sign an executive order today about meat packaging plants. It affects liability for them. What efforts or what measures are you looking at for liability for other industries and other businesses?
Well, we haven't been talked about. It hasn't been asked on other industries yet. But with the meat packing and with the transportation, we have had some difficulty where they're having a liability that's really unfair to them. And we're going to be doing that. I think, Mark, we're going to be doing that fairly soon. It's getting drawn up. I should be signing that over the next hour or so, taking the liability, which frees up the entire system. and I fully understand it, not their fault. Yeah, please, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President.
No, over here first.
Mr. President, I just want to go back to what we discussed a little earlier today. Are you considering asking airlines to test passengers on international but also domestic flights?
Yeah, we're looking at doing it on the international flights coming out of areas that are heavily infected. As you know, Brazil is getting to that category. I think they're going to be okay. I hope they're going to be okay. He's a very good friend of mine, the president. But I think that we're going to look at it from the standpoint, I was discussing that with the governor of Florida, with Ron, a little while ago. So we're going to be looking at that coming in from other countries, frankly, but South America seems to be one that's talked about because they have so much business going into Florida. With all of that being said, Florida's done incredibly well, and they're starting to open up very rapidly. But we will be looking into that in the very near future. We're looking at it very strongly.
And the airlines would have this responsibility?
Either the airlines or government, one or the other. We're working with the airlines. Maybe it's a combination of both. Kristen, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. Some health experts say the U.S. needs 5 million tests per day by June in order to safely reopen. You unveiled a plan yesterday that will increase testing, but not by that much. Why not? And can you get to that benchmark?
Well, it will increase it, and it'll increase it by much more than that in the very near future. We're way ahead of everyone on testing. We haven't been given the press in terms of, I think, fairness of the press, but that's okay, and that's why I appreciated the statement before by Yahoo. We are way ahead on testing. We are the best in the world on testing. We've tested much more than anybody else, ×2. Or every country combined. We've tested more than every country combined. And they keep talking about South Korea, and I'm very friendly, as you know, with President Moon, who just had a great victory, a new victory, as we're very happy about. But he will tell you how well the United States has done on testing, and he told me that very strongly. The quality of our test is the best, and the number is the best. Now, with all of that being said, we will be going to an even higher number, and it goes up exponentially, and I've told you that. We inherited a very broken test, a broken system and a broken test, and within a short period of time, we were setting records. So we have set records. We've done more than the entire world combined. We've done more than any other country in the world. So I think we've done a really good job. Now, with that being said, not everybody feels as strongly about testing as others. We have some governors that are very strong on testing. We have other governors, frankly, that aren't nearly as strong on testing. Their test is much more modest, and their real test is when people stop getting sick, and they'll be able to do that too. And I understand both systems very well. But we're going to maximum testing, even though some people won't even want to use it.
I hear you saying you're confident you can surpass 5 million tests per day. Is that?
Oh, well, we're going to be there very soon. If you look at the numbers, it could be that we're getting very close. I mean, I don't have the exact numbers. We would have had them if you asked me the same question a little while ago, because people with the statistics were there. We're going to be there very soon. We're really doing, I mean, I watched your report on NBC today, and it was an incorrect report, because we're really doing a great job on testing. Unfortunately, the administration, the people that work our government, hasn't been given the kind of credit that it deserves. Last month it was about ventilators. Now we have so many that we're able to give them to Italy, France, Spain. Other countries have been asking us for ventilators. We're making over 150,000. We've distributed thousands and thousands. New York is in great shape with what we've done, as you know. New Jersey's in great shape. We spoke just recently. Ivanka just spoke with the governor, and they're in very good shape with the ventilators. I mean, everybody has, and most of them have far more than they'll ever need. They're starting to send them back. So nobody went without a ventilator, and yet if you read the media from a month and a half ago, it was all about ventilators. And ventilators are tough. That was a tough thing, but we should be very proud of our country. We took assembly lines and they converted from cars and other things into ventilators. And the job that we've seen has not been seen since World War II. What they have done in terms of the manufacture of very high-grade ventilators is amazing. So now we don't hear about that. And I noticed that the testing is starting to die down, because we now have the best testing anywhere in the world by far, and we have more. And that's a good thing. That's a very good thing. I'm happy about it. We had a call yesterday with governors, and I will say that I'm sure many of you were on that call. even though you shouldn't have been. They shouldn't have been, Amy, but they were. I wonder how that happened. But you heard the governors were thrilled. Now, the following day, if you'll get a Democrat on the call, they'll say, I saw some of them today. They were so thrilled yesterday on a call that they thought it was a close call. And today they were good, but they weren't the same as they were yesterday because that's the business. They want to try and win on November 3rd. But we're doing a job the likes of which nobody's ever done. And I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about people in the Army Corps of Engineers, where we built hospitals, where we built thousands and thousands of beds all over the country. New York, what we did was incredible. 2,900 beds in a matter of days. What they've done is so incredible. And FEMA, what they've done. And the doctors and the professionals and all of the people that you see me with all the time. These are great people. And they've really done a great job. And now our country's opening up again, and I think it's going to be very, very successful. I think that, Larry is here. We talked about it, and we talk about it all the time. I think that third quarter, it's obviously a transition quarter, but I think it's going to be okay, maybe better than okay. Larry thinks better than okay. I think even more so than I do. And then I think fourth quarter will be great. And I think next year is going to be a tremendous year for this country. Jennifer?
Yes, on the PPP loans, can you say who's going to be responsible for that review that Secretary Mnuchin mentioned on the loans above $2 million? Who exactly will be responsible?
The SBA will be responsible, and they have a team of people. They'll bring in additional people. And again, I want to assure the American public and the American taxpayers, we will make sure that these certifications were done accurately, or the loans won't be forgiven and there will be liability.
And Mr. President, Mitch McConnell today told some Republicans on a phone call that he does not want to fund infrastructure in a coronavirus stimulus bill. Do you have a reaction to that?
I think Mitch is looking at it, as I do, to an extent, as the infrastructure. He likes infrastructure. We all do. We have to rebuild our country. $8 trillion has been spent. I wasn't in favor of it. I can tell you that in the Middle East. $8 trillion. Think of it. And yet you wanted to fix a pothole in a roadway or in a highway in this country, and you didn't do it because they didn't have the money, because so much money was spent in the Middle East. Well, that's, as you know, a whole different story now. And we want to do infrastructure, but a lot of the Republicans would like to keep that as a separate bill. So we'll see how that works out, Jennifer. We'll see. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, you said at the top of your remarks that you feel the worst of the pandemic is behind us. But without a treatment, without a vaccine, and states now reopening, how can you be so sure?
Well, I think that, like other things, hopefully we're going to come up with a vaccine. You never know about a vaccine, but tremendous progress has been made. Johnson & Johnson and Oxford and lots of good things. You've been hearing the same things as I do. Tremendous progress has been made, we think, on a vaccine. You always have to say think, and then you have to test it, and that takes a period of time. But a lot of movement and a lot of progress has been made on a vaccine. But I think what happens is it's going to go away. This is going to go away. And whether it comes back in a modified form in the fall, we'll be able to handle it. We'll be able to put out spurts. And we're very prepared to handle it. We've learned a lot. We've learned a lot about it, the invisible enemy. It's a bad enemy. It's a very tough enemy, but we've learned a lot. It's in 184 countries, as you hear me say often. It's hard to believe. It's inconceivable. It should have been stopped at the source, which was China. It should have been stopped very much at the source, but it wasn't. And now we have 184 countries going through hell. But I think that a lot of good things are going to happen, and I really believe that fourth quarter is going to be maybe tremendous, and the next year I think has a chance to be really getting close to record setting. We hope so. We hope we can be back where we were. We had the strongest economy anywhere in the world, and I hope we're going to be back there again. Go ahead, please.
Yes, you've spoken about your friend who passed away. I was wondering if you've spoken to the families of anyone else who's lost loved ones to COVID-19, if there's any particular stories that have affected you.
Well, I have many people. I know many stories. I've spoken to 3, maybe I guess 4 families. Unrelated to me, I lost a very good friend. I also lost 3 other friends, 2 of whom I didn't know as well, but they were friends and people I did business with, and probably almost everybody in the room did. And it's a bad death. It's a bad thing. It grips onto some people. Now we found out that young people do extraordinarily well. That's why I think we can start thinking about schools. But of course, we're ending the school season, so it wouldn't be probably you wouldn't be back for too long. I noticed where Purdue University, a great school in a great state, wants to open and have students come in. I think that's correct. Some colleges, I think I saw Harvard wants to have students come back in the fall. I would hope that they'd have students. I think that the whole concept of computer learning is wonderful, but it's not tele-learning. But it's not the same thing as being in a classroom in a great college or a college of any kind, college, university. There's nothing, you can't replace that. So hopefully they're going to be coming back. Young people do very well with this horrible scourge. They do very well. So I am going to see you tomorrow, and we'll have other things to talk about. We have a lot of interesting things. I don't think we should have a news conference today because this is a news conference. In addition, it's a celebration of these incredible people that have done such a good job. And I think we found a couple of stars in this room today. I won't tell you who, but there are a couple. This guy right here is the biggest star in the room, right? We'll all agree he's the big. I vote for you, okay? Great job you've done, and I really appreciate it, too. I appreciate you being here. Couldn't have done better.
And of course, Megan and I maybe want to know if you and some of your hostess, staff members, bodyguards, or anybody in your company would like to come to Annapolis to our company.
Be careful, that could happen. That could happen. Be careful. We'll have to do that, Amy. I think maybe we could do something like that. You're very good. He's stolen the show, right? Do we agree? Doc, I'll tell you, I'm getting ready with the eyes. Come on with me if you want. Do a quick one. Want to save a lot of time. We need time. We're opening up the country, Doc, so we need a little time. We can't spend too much. I don't want to spend 2.5 hours at an eye doctor, right? Okay, so we'll think about that. We want to do that. I want to thank everybody, in particular, Jovita. I want to thank you very much. And Steve, you're working... I can call Steve at any time. I can call him at 2 in the morning, 6 in the morning. It doesn't make any difference. I say, did I wake you? The answer is always no. He's doing a great job. We're proud of him. And everybody is, everybody. Our government, we have to be proud of our government, and we have to be proud of our country. These are really terrific people. We're going through a period of time, the likes of which we've never seen in this country before. Certainly, even if you go back into 1917, it was the worst of all time, but it was also not as bad here. It was very bad. It was very rough. It was a bad one, but it wasn't quite like what we're going through right now. And it's because of the amazing, when you look at how contagious this is, where people literally just being in the same area with other people, it catches. So I'm very proud of this country, I have to say. I'm very proud to be your president, and I'm very proud of this country. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
All right, folks, thank you so much for joining us and choosing us.
We're at 124 Dock Street in downtown.
124 Duck Street.
Dock Street in Annapolis.
Okay, get it ready.
All right. Good.
And if I don't do it, they're going to be very upset with me,
Right, they should come too if they want.
They will. They will. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
I hope that you guys were able to hear that. We had to, put the mic just a little bit higher. But that is the kind of employee businesses need. That is an employee, folks. He was talking about President Trump going over to their bakery where they work, or their the place where where he works. And if the media wants to come too, they can come too, he says. That is beautiful. Such an awesome employee. And I bet the lady is very happy to have him and others working for her that are just that committed to her business. That is amazing to see. All right, folks, thank you so much for joining us here at Golden State Times. If you liked our coverage, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And also you subscribe to the channel and you click that notification bell. Once again, if you liked our coverage and you want to stay tuned on everything that is going on, press conferences, press briefings, speeches, and everything else in between, then make sure you click that subscribe button and also that notification bell. That bell is YouTube sending you notifications for future live streams. But if you don't want to get notified by YouTube, because YouTube does not send notifications, they only send like 400 notifications today instead of the 3% of subscribers that we have. That is what they're supposed to be sending on a daily basis, and they don't. They send almost nothing. So only very, very few patriots are able to get a notification from us when we go live. So we have added a notification text message list. And if you want to be added onto that list, all you have to do is text the word Trump Live to the number 555-888. Once again, that number is 555-888. So take out your cell phone, do a new text message, put in the word Trump Live, and send it to the number 555888. Hold on, I need to ban somebody that's just being an idiot in the chat. Hold on. All right, folks, once again, if you guys missed it, it should be uploaded onto the channel right now. Hold on, give me 1 second.